Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this new figure showcase and review, we're going to be looking at the Studio Series 86. This is Leader Class Dinobot Swoop. So in this video, we're going to have a look at him in both of his modes, help you decide how you want to display him. We're going to have a look at the accessories that come with him and how you can use them in both modes, and indeed share some of them out with the other Dinobots. We're then of course going to do some comparisons with his last say mainline toy and his original Generation 1 figure, and then of course we'll bring in some of the other figures from the same toy line just to see how he looks and displays with them as well. Right, so as I start to pop all these away, I need to take this opportunity once again to really say huge thank you to Hasbro for the loan of this figure. This was my most anticipated figure of the year, and I really can't believe I've got the privilege to show you this, guys, because it's just stunning in hand. And also to remind anybody who's not subscribed to the channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now, please, because it really does help me out. Right, before we have a quick look at the figure, I want to show you the box. This is how he's going to come packaged, and again, this is what I took him out of at the MCM Comic Con to put him on the stand. So first and foremost, we've got the lovely artwork of him there in his alternate mode at the front. Of course, he would have been packaged in robot mode. We've got a close-up of the alternate mode, so the sort of bust there. And then we've got a pretty much, again, a stunning looking alternate mode bit of artwork there. We can see he's going to take 21 steps to transform, and I'm sure you've already noticed that I've uploaded the transformation tutorial as well for people to use, and again for people to see if they want to, because I appreciate that people don't always want to see the transformation processes. I also appreciate people do, so I put it up separately. Right, so this is the actual backing card that he comes attached to, and this is where the swords and everything were attached. The background, or his stand, shall we say, and this is probably the only negative thing I've got to say about some of the Studio Series figures. I don't know, I just think that perhaps they could put their money to better use. I have never really used one, although funnily enough, obviously I did the Bumblebee review using one, but that's because I wasn't at home and it was a makeshift studio in a hotel room. What I'm basically trying to say is, you know, it's hard to get the figures to, I don't think looks super good in it. I don't think it's big enough to house him. Maybe for the smaller figures, I'm not too sure, or maybe my suggestion would be if there was something along the lines of where you can build a bigger scene, because again, I would imagine most people, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, please let me know in the comments, will be buying more than one figure. It's very rare that you get people buying one. Anyway, that's the only negative thing to say about that. The robot in hand it's stunning, guys. It's so good. It's exactly what I would expect as well from a leader class. There's a couple of things which I wouldn't expect. We'll discuss them in a minute, but what I mean by that is the size, the stature, exactly that. You know, it's a big figure. I'm going to do more comparisons later, but there of course is pretty much your iconic Voyager class Netflix, or you know, Earthrise Prime, and he's in exactly what you want. You want him to tower above it, even though I think this figure is amazing, and I completely appreciate the price point he's at because of all the articulation, the extra parts to him, and the fact, you know, he's got like 3 modes, you know, engineering, that's the word I was after. You appreciate the engineering's more than this. This is what I mean by a leader class figure. I think it looks amazing, and again, it's going to have some nice shelf presence. The head itself is brilliant. Look at it, exactly as you want it to look from the cartoon. This will spin all the way around completely unrestricted. It can look up and down, no issues whatsoever. The arms will go all the way out to the sides and even higher. They'll come right up, which is perfect. If you adjust the wing, of course, you can spin this all the way around completely unrestricted. There's also a shoulder swivel, there's also bicep flexion, and there is a wrist swivel. So I can't go past this point without mentioning it. Yes, it's a bit of a, it's more than a bit of a downer. I don't know what the budget's, anything like that. I know nothing along them lines. It's not great. I wish they would have done, I did actually suggest this in one of the interviews that I did, that they reintroduce, you know, sliding fists or something like that. You never know, maybe in the future. But I also, you know, completely agree that some people this is going to frustrate. But of course, I've not transformed him yet, but I can appreciate that that's exactly why they've kept the gap. Whether they could have done something, you know, like Blitzwing or the Seekers, which had a spring platform in, I don't really know, but I do appreciate it's going to annoy people for the price point. But my get out of jail with that particular thing there, and this is with any figure. If you watch any of my older videos, whether it's a third-party figure or a mainline figure, if I can't see it from the front, then it's not too detrimental for me. Now, this is quite clever as well, because it looks like an ab crunch, but it's not. It's not an ab crunch. It looks like it. If I move the arms up, you can see it looks a little bit like one, but it's just where the legs are moving at the hips. There is a swivel, and if you just slightly disconnect this beak, you can go all the way around if you wanted to. but I don't think you'd want to go any further than that anyway. So if we bring it back around, clip that back in, there's more than enough there. Now the interesting thing with the legs is you've got further than splits. They're going all the way up, which is great. And of course you can do exactly the same the other way as well, so you can get more than enough posability from this particular figure. You've also got the swivel just underneath the thigh. You've got a huge knee bend. The ankle fully tilts, rocks. The toes lift up and down. The heel screws lift up and down. The wings go backwards and forwards. The wings come out. You can extend them, have them a little bit bigger. Yeah, it's great. It really does look good. The paint apps work. I think it's good. Obviously they've gone with the color scheme from the cartoon and not the toy, but I do expect perhaps in the future to get toy decos of these as well, because let's be honest, we've got 3 and another Grimlock on the way anyway, so I'm sure we're going to get the use of these particular molds as well. Right guys, that's enough I think to say about the particular figure for now. Before we come back and have a look at him in the alternate mode, we've got the 2 large swords, and to give you an idea of how big this is very quickly, that's the one from the Power of the Primes sword, so ginormous. Again, I appreciate that they probably popped these in just to, you know, make up some of the budget. These are some of the blasters. These do come out, they don't unfortunately fire, and again there's a bit of a hollowness underneath, but again when it's in his hand or on the wing, you're not going to see it. Right, let's come back now then and have a look at him in his alternate mode. So we're back and he's in his alternate mode, and to be honest, this is where I'm more impressed with it, and that's purely because if anybody remembers all of them images, and yes, I was one of the people as well who put the videos up on the channel of the alternate mode, but what had happened is the people who had them before on display, they'd sort of mistransformed it because they had the wings. This just keeps popping off obviously. They had the wings like this. If you remember on the videos where they had this particular figure on display, it wasn't too long ago, but they literally only had like that, so it did look like he had a little more stumpy wings. But as I've just seen and as I've just shown you with the correct instructions on it, you can fold this bit out, and now of course that gives his wingspan a far more impressive look. And hopefully again you can see here that the reflection on here, the silver in the wings, is beautiful, and so is the gold. It's quite a simple transformation process. You've probably already seen that. As I said, apologies, I have uploaded it separately to keep the length of the video down, and just in case people didn't want to see it. It's great. The reason I've got this here is to bring the other Dinobots in as well. So again, you can make all the molding detail, even on the underside of the wing, is spectacular. The feet as well, if you wanted to, you could move the toes about. You could as well, of course, if you wanted to, you can just slightly detach the wing just to have it move around a little bit more. This is on a double hinge, so you can move that around quite a bit more as well. The head is fully articulate, as in it will go quite a bit further back. That join there is fine. You can then of course open up the beak. I said fully, I thought it would go side to side. It obviously won't. I apologize for that. The neck just goes up and down, and as you've already seen, you can bring it right over and have him standing there. The detail on the head is brilliant as well, to be honest. The Autobot logo there in the front again is brilliant, and of course this is before we put any of his accessories in. So we've got, as I say, the blasters, and these will fit at multiple points on the underside of the wings. Let me bring in the original one. There's the original one. So if anybody's got an idea of how big the original figure was, this is much bigger. I'm wondering actually now whether to put that closer to him, as in there. Yeah, I think that's going to go better. You can't see what I'm doing, it's just slightly out of view. I'm going to put them there. So I need to give you an idea, I suppose, of how big it is. Once again, there is, oh, there's Prime. That was the was it episode 2 where he falls down the cliff? It looked a little bit like that anyway. Right, there is Earthrise Prime next to him. There is the Stranger Things, or the Voyager class figure. I don't know if that's quite coincidental or quite a bit of a pun. We've got, of course, the Jurassic Park Jeep going above him then, but I know what everybody wants to see, and this is the, in honesty, why it's taken me so long to do this review. It's getting all of these together, getting them all transformed to and from modes, because they take a lot longer to transform than what I remember. So first and foremost, let's bring this out of the way. So there is Swoop, and there is Slug. Oh, what's happened to his leg? His leg's folded all the way up. I don't know how that's happened. Just must have fallen the thing. There's Slug. So what we've got here, this one, obviously Swoop being the sort of thinnest, etc. Let's put him onto there. You can just balance there for now. Then we've got, I suppose, the widest one, which is of course Snarl, and this guy is really, really wide. These are great big, chunky, exactly as you want leader class Dinobots. I'm going to have to sort all that out in a minute. In fact, what I'll do is I'll take them all out of the way just in case it takes the focus, and then I'll do my best to get them all popped up for you to the end, because I know that's what I say. I know that's what people want to see. There is Grimlock in his, of course, huge Tyrannosaurus mode, and then now we've got probably, well, definitely the longest, but it'll be interesting actually to see if the wingspan on him is longer than Sludge. Yes, it is. The wingspan is just longer. Right, anything else? I suppose I could bring in a couple of other figures just to give you an idea of him standing upright, like so. What else have we got here? There's, of course, his Power of the Primes one. About the height of a deluxe figure, to be honest, if that gives you an idea. So his standing alternate mode is exactly that. It's about the size of a deluxe figure. Right, let's see if I can do this and get these all to fit sort of on screen. I'm going to probably upload a quick short that you've probably already seen by now, to be honest. Just again, trying to keep all of these figures and get them in all on screen. I might find it a bit easier in a second just to pick up the camera. In fact, I probably will do that because he's just gonna, he's gonna take all of the focus. So bear with me 2 seconds. Let's pick these up like so and give you an idea of, there you go. That's pretty much how they look together. It's so hard to get them all on one screen and all in one particular area due to the huge size of them, but hopefully that's done the alternate mode a bit of justice. Let's get them back into all their robot modes and see how they look then. Okay, then we're back with him in robot mode, and this is definitely the way that I will be displaying him when I get my own copy. I just want to quickly clarify what I meant as well about the backdrop and about the one figure. What I meant is most people tend to buy more figures in the same toy line rather than the one, and that is perhaps why I would like them to join up a little bit, you know, to make a bit of a scene. So let's just give it one last chance with a few things inside there. Now I appreciate that there's reflection, but you know, you can see what I mean. It just doesn't sort of work for me. Right, let's take him out of that. Let's just use the normal background. Hope he doesn't fall over. And I actually like the look of the blasters in his hands like that. But of course, there's no way I don't think we've ever seen him with the blasters like that in any cartoons. I mean, if I'm wrong, again, please do correct me in the comments. I do like the fact, of course, that you can, as you say, take them off. You can use the blast effects, and you can even attach the bits inside again, so it looks like it's being sort of, you know, mid-fired. That's a great little bonus that you can do as well. I wonder if you could, not that you'd really want to, you could perhaps pretend it's a grenade if you wanted to, something like that. Again, it's just an idea for something that just works. Right, let's pop that there. And again, as I said, you know, you can, if you want to, extend out the wings, little things like that, which just make this figure so good. So here is his, let me see, is that the same one as his G1? Because it is yes it is. It's a brilliant upscale, that's the correct word, of his original G1 sword. And I wonder if we're going to get the same problem as the G1 figure with the loose legs. That obviously is very sort of common. That looks insane. Again, I apologize at how useless I am at actually posing figures. It is something I probably should get around to practicing. This sword is, of course, and it does belong to Grimlock. I'm going to bring him up in a second. Let's just do a couple of last few Swoop comparisons. There we go. So of course they're all official. We've got G1 and then we've got Power of the Primes right there. Before we go on to all the Dinobots, and again, that's the reason why this video took so long to do. I do apologize, transforming all the figures to and from. That is your Takara Megatron. That is why he's shiny. That is your Netflix Optimus Prime. That is why he's a slightly different color to the Earthrise. So let's bring in a few other figures, maybe some newer ones, just to give you an idea, I suppose, of scale and size. That is your Optimus 1 from 1 rather. That is your little Bumblebee. That is, of course, your Studio Series Springer. Not too sure what else to bring in, actually, to be honest. I've got loads of figures all around me, but again, I know the ones that you want to see, and I'm going to get around very quickly to bringing them all in. What I will do, of course, this is not supposed to scale at all. This is just for people who watch this channel, and I know they collect other toy lines as well. Yep, that was me knocking some figures over. So if you collect other toy lines, very quickly, there's a core, but what I mean by that is third-party figures. So, you know, your new age figures, they are double the size, these leader class ones. It'd be interesting. You could do some quite funny things with the Doctor Who figures in these, especially in the alternate modes. But right, I know this is the bit that everybody's been waiting for, so I'm going to try my absolute best to get all these on screen, guys. Let's start off with Grimlock, because first and foremost, I'm going to pop him there, and I'm going to, of course, give him his Generation 1 sword. And I only just realised as well, after picking these back up, that he also, of course, has the huge, what's the word I'm after? Forearm gaps, which isn't the greatest, but there they are together. They are play fighting with their swords together. I'm going to bring them all up one at a time, and as I say, I'm going to try and get them all on screen. It may mean that I have to take what's the word I'm after? I might have to turn the video off and come back and film it in a separate way, because they're just too big. Sludge is massive. Look how much bigger Sludge is compared to him. Absolutely huge. Right, next one. I hate saying Slug, but I know that lots of people do watch this with their kids, and they can explain to them what his real name is, not me. But there's the other one. There's Slug. And of course, there is the most recent one. There is Snarl. So obviously, you can just see, I'm not going to say they've saved the best till last. The best thing for, I think, us in the UK especially, is the fact that we do have another Swoop figure, because we never had him in G1. That's a crazy story, which if you guys don't know, yeah, in G1 we weren't released him. I don't really think there's anything more to say about this guy. You can tell he's spectacular. I know we're all waiting for him, so let's get them all together for the final little part of the video. So here they all are together. I know this is what everybody sort of wants to see. I'll try and get some more shorts or some more additional videos, again, just due to space, but they do all look spectacular together. As I've said numerous times, and I'm not going to say it anymore, these are what I would class as leader class figures. They're enormous, they're clever to transform, and I'm sure you'll agree they all look incredible together. So again, huge thank you to Hasbro for allowing me to do this review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments what you think of him, and of course, if I made any mistakes, I'm more than happy, as I say, to rectify them in the future. Let me know what you think, guys. Take care.